Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Range podcast with Hogg Tactical and Kelley Defense. I'm your host, Mark Kelley, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host and friend, Rick Hogg from Hogg Tactical. How's it going, buddy?
Man, Mark, it is going great. We are live out here at the Muscatatuck Training Urban Center here in Indiana at the American Tactical Canine Association Conference 2024. Great day. You can kind of hear that rustling in the background. That's all right. We basically had, in essence for us, 4 days of training. So we did 2 days with Jennings County Sheriff's Office. Then we've had 2 days one-handed shooting for the canine officer for the American Tactical Canine Association. So, dude, it's been going great. Just want to thank you, the viewer listener out there, for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. Guys, do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a rating, review, whatever platform you're listening to. Or if you're listening to multiple, hit them all. It's the only way we're going to beat this big tech algorithm. A couple big shout-outs, man. The Firearms Training Notebook has been absolutely huge these last 4 days of training out here. But, again, our good partners at Hoist, appreciate all your support, guys, keeping the boys hydrated out there. And then, of course, it's only fitting that here we are at the American Tactical Canine Association. We got the Heritage Distilling Company War Dog Whiskey. Man, appreciate what you guys do for the Duco Project. So, yeah, man, bunch of stuff going on. Been a great 4 days of training thus far, and super industry partners out there that support us during this journey, and then in turn supporting our law enforcement officers.
Yeah, buddy, we got an opportunity to do this again. This is our fourth time here.
Fourth year, baby.
Second time bringing the show out here. We don't go on location very much, but we definitely hit this one.
Yep.
So it's been a good week. We still have 2 classes left.
Yep.
A lot of good reception. Speaking of the Firearms Training Notebook, I mean, I know everybody in the crew members, if you haven't done that, check that out. But the crew members and some of our loyal followers understand what we're doing with the Firearms Training Notebook, and it couldn't be any more integral to what we're doing every day on the range as it is in our private life, in our own firearms journey, too. Let's go ahead and elaborate on that, because it's been huge.
Yeah, so especially for the canine officer, for those of you that aren't super familiar with them, right, so they've got to keep training notebooks or logbooks for their canines. But unfortunately, they kind of fall off the mark as far as their own notebook, logbook for their own training. So us just incorporating the Firearms Training Notebook in there gives them tangibles for themselves where how can I make myself that incrementally 1% better every single day? The problem comes in is a lot of guys just don't know, and it's no fault of their own, but they just don't know how to set up that dry fire training. And then in turn, how do I take that time I spent dry firing and then incorporate it onto their live fire portion? And, the crew members, for those of you that don't know, the OTR Patreon crew members, they know because we talk about this stuff all the time. How do you make yourself incrementally better?
Right.
So for our law enforcement students, they're basically walking away with tangible data from the Warhawk self-eval, single-shot presentation, control pairs, magazine change, draw from the holster. They're walking away with all this data. Now from there, as an individual, they can look and go, hey, man, where's my weaknesses at? Where do I need to improve? Work those drills from the dry fire standpoint, because you've got the notebook to kind of lay out your training, your dry fire training in there. And then, boom, when it's time to go to the range, let's see where we're at. The other key part is we've got a section there called goals. And to me, if you're not writing your shooting goals down, they're just wishes. You can change your wishes. Hey, I wish I had a 2-second draw, but I'll take the 2.5-second draw, the 3-second draw, right? Dude, no way. Write it down, because there's nothing better than lining that goal out and going, bam.
Huge.
I got it. I'm going from 2 seconds to 1.75. Here we go. So How do I keep working on that?
Yeah.
And, we talk about this all the time, Mark, but it needs to be part of, we do it at a daily stance, but where you're plugging in a couple times a week, that dry fire training, 3 to 5 minutes, uninterrupted, get after it,
yep,
and improve your survivability, whether you're law enforcement, military, or that concealed carry holder.
Dude, some of these LEOs, and rightfully so, because the way they've been trained, is that timer's like the enemy.
Hate it.
Hate it. They absolutely hate it. But in reality, it's your best friend. Well, your best friend is the Firearms Training Notebook, but your second best friend is that Pro Timer, so that you can collect that data. And the only thing they know is if I don't make these marks, they could possibly relieve me from duty, make me come out the next day, whatever the circumstances is, but it's always bad.
Yeah.
It's always bad. With us, any piece of data, whether it's a more than good standard or less than good standard, dude, it's a learning piece of data that we can use to put in our training.
Sure.
And like you said, it can't be your enemy. It's got to be your friend.
No, 100%. I think the other key part to that is a lot of guys don't understand, for you as the shooter, how to do that self-diagnosis. So when I sit there and bust that good shot, what did I do to make that shot?
Right.
Same thing goes, hey, if I didn't have a good shot, what caused it? And then kind of final cap of all this is being able to call that shot. So, hey, when I do actually press that trigger, send that round, where was that bullet going?
Right.
I should be able to do all that. However, the part comes in is no fault of these guys.
None at all.
No one's ever trained them. No, you talk about calling your shot. They have no clue. They've never been taught that. So if you think about it from the law enforcement standpoint, you're in a deadly force encounter. If I'm just pressing that trigger, having no clue where my bullets are going, dude, to me that's a catastrophic place to be.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get them dialed into that, and we see the improvement, right?
Yeah.
They start, kind of struggling. We do a performance on demand with the Warhawk self-eval. Hey, where are you at with your current skills? And we just build from there and use a total building block methodology to get them by the end of the day, man. They're shooting under physical duress, throwing sandbags.
Yeah.
And dude, they're getting hit. So
yeah. I know we said it before, but say it again. Big shout out to Hoist and the Service to America Salute Series by Heritage Distilleries. But or distilling, I stand corrected. But we're going to have some guests and we're going to talk about those very things. And it's not that difficult to implement. You only have to change a few things to put that in your program and make it a part of your yearly, monthly, or whatever quals or in-service that you have to do on the range. But if you take it, like Rick said, if you take that short period of time each week to do those things dry, using the firearms training notebook, you're going to see the results almost immediately, guarantee it. And a big thing about, the data or what I, self-discovery, what I did wrong, that might be the first time they've ever thought about it, and it just keeps on going because you're like, man, I'm doing this well, I'm still doing something wrong, and they start thinking about it more.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's no fault of their own, but no one's ever given the flexibility to try things out in the range, right? So they're stuck in this cookie cutter thing they have to do, but it's not working for them because of their body structure, whatever the case may be. They'd like to change, but they can't. But when they're able to implement, a simple thing as this. Some guys, hey, I sink more finger in that trigger. Man, I'm starting to get on the mark, right? Why can't you do it? Well, because Firearms Instructor X said you have to place this. Dude, we give our students some generalities, right? And then in turn, hey, man, here's some things to try. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
What's going to work for them? That's the key at the end of the day. So if we can empower our students to do that self-diagnosis, that self-learning, how much further are they going to be down the road? It's just huge gains for them.
Yeah.
Just to improve their skill set.
And isn't that funny? It's not really funny. It's almost, a kind of a sad thing where some of the best cons of the program was allowing for that opportunity to do those new things or to think outside of what they've been taught and try new things. Because the way I do things, the way I grip the firearm is not going to be the same as anybody else, and you got to allow that flexibility for them to try new stuff. And that was some of the biggest cons we got this week is our attitude towards training about letting them help themselves. Yeah. Because they know it doesn't feel right, but they're afraid to change it.
Right, because they're not allowed to.
They're not allowed to.
That's the whole key thing. So for us just going, hey, try new things, that's huge for them. They've never had that ability. They've never had that ability to go, oh, what if I do this? What if I do that? And you can watch them changing things, and you almost see those light bulbs go off for some of them where it's like, this is it. Maintain it, right?
Yeah.
Repeat it. But then we hear the classic, I got to break those bad habits, right? Or I've got this thing so muscle memory ingrained because I've done umpteen gazillion repetitions beforehand.
Isn't that something when they know that something just doesn't seem right, or why am I doing that? But yet, if they don't do it, hey, they're going. In some cases, they're going to fail the qual.
Yeah,
and they're like, hey, I'm going to try something different. You go to try something different. It's so ingrained in them, they're having a hard time doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they've done it so many, more times this other way.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, how do I get myself?
He's like, man, I know this other way works better, but I've done it so many times. And it's terrible.
And it's funny because they'll catch themselves like halfway through, right? Oh, man, I should have done it. Dude, unemotional, just correct it the next time. Throttle things back a little bit, talk to yourself, run the motions you need to.
One person who is implementing it, or at least trying to the best that he can, is Sheriff Ken Freeman. We're going to have him on again today, so looking forward to that. But it's we've seen the mindset change in the amount of training that they are doing escalate just in the few years that we've known him. And he's a great example of how easy for all you administrators out there in law enforcement, even military units, how you can put that stuff in, give him a call, and just see what experiences he's had. Because it's a constant battle to fight to get folks to training because, hey, we got to still do our main job. I get it. We got calls for service. But you can make it happen, and you can push that culture of doing it at home with the dry stuff.
Yeah. And even if you're, like Mark was saying, military law enforcement, just incorporate it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, what does it hurt? Not a busy day. Call a guy in. Hey, man, download your stuff. Let's get a couple quick, dry fire reps in. Oh, by the way, if you've got your firearms training notebook, to me, that's a perfect tool where now I can almost check on a dude and go, dude, you haven't cracked the book since training. There's nothing in there. What's up?
Yeah.
Right?
Great point.
It can hold people accountable.
Yep.
And that's the part these guys need to understand. If you're using the firearms training notebook, granted for us, we're filling our stuff out, but from a administrative leader standpoint, dude, give them the book, teach them how to use it, right? Let them capture some data, and then, hey, bring them back a month later. If there's not a single input into that book, that's telling you right there, hey, man, you're not putting any type of dry fire training in.
Yeah, by no means are we letting the individual off the hook here. I
No.
mean, yeah, it's your responsibility. If you're not doing your dry fire, if you're not implementing some kind of physical fitness program, you're wrong, folks. You're wrong. You need to be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a great point. Great point.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, we'll probably do one more of these, but I think we're going to start getting some guests. We got some good guests. Some of them are actually former students of the program. And, man, a lot of good influences out there, too, that we're going to have to make sure we mention and get their names and their faces out there on some posts and some podcasts so that you can see the results that some of these folks are getting, man. Some of them are getting after it, and it's really great to see.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There's nothing better than when we have students show up to the class. They've already got the book, especially when there's data already in there. So when we go, hey, turn on the Warhawk self-eval. That's already done. Hey, we got to go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Dude, I ain't got no more of the spots left. They're all done. I need a new book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I grab a new book from you?
Yeah, I saw that guy, too. He was here earlier. Yeah.
So, again, it's how to make yourself that 1% better.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really what this whole thing boils down to. Hey, man, I'm not asking you to freaking change overnight.
No.
If you can get 1% better every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Dude, you'll be out there crushing life, man.
And his starting point this year as opposed to last year?
Oh.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
180 difference, without a doubt.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, pal? We're probably going to do another one, folks. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, hopefully the background noise, we're going to check that, see if we can mitigate it. But, man, it's a good show. We'll give you some visuals of it.
Well, I think the background adds to it, right? It's like, hey, man, here we are live on set at the American Tactical K9 2024 Conference Vendor Day.
Maybe we put that banner up there so you all can see it.
Ooh, that might be a better, I like it, buddy. Good thinking.
This boring backdrop, but
dude,
hey,
I like.
Hey, that's going to make us more than 1% better for sure.
Might make us 1.5. Bam, there it is, pal.
All right, man. Anything else, pal?
That's it, buddy. As always, guys, you know the deal. Train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the range.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.